This is the Evening News of Friday, May 30th, 2014. I'm Michael Young. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight, government and opposition trade blame over the non-passage of the AML bill. Steps being made to establish a DA office here. UC Guyana says that the Army tried to deny Gregory Smith's existence. Cook charged after stealing electricity. Guyana to train St. Kitts and Nevis nurses in kidney dialysis. And the Limacol CPL cheerleaders workshop ends on a high note. It's now time for a look at what's happening as we go to our top stories. With Guyana on the brink of being blacklisted by the Financial Action Task Force, President Donald Ramotar says his government did everything it could have to pass the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering of the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill. Details in this report.
The blame game between the government and the opposition parties over the non-passage of the anti-money laundering bill continued, with President Donald Ramotar distancing the government from any blame for the non-passage of the bill. The president's remarks came a few hours after the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force announced that it will be forwarding Guyana's file to the Financial Action Task Force.
The government did everything possible to get this piece of legislation through the National Assembly. A CFATF compliant bill was laid in Parliament since April 22, 2013 by the administration. Had it been passed then, Guyana would not be in this situation today.
The president highlighted that even with appeals for the passage of the bill from national, regional and international bodies, the House still failed to pass the legislation.
CARICOM leaders at the heads of government meeting in St. Vincent urged Guyana to pass the legislation to prevent the unnecessary hardship to our people and to the rest of the region. Individual CARICOM leaders, the Organization of American States, the local business, labor, banking, insurance and farming communities also made several appeals to have this legislation urgently passed.
Ramotar said with the Guyana's financial sector in limbo, the opposition should make the passage of the legislation a priority.
The opposition demanded that it be sent to a special select committee because they had amendments. They proposed no amendments. The government then returned the bill to Parliament in November 2013. The opposition voted it down. In December, the bill was returned to Parliament, and again the opposition demanded that it go to a special select committee for them to make amendments. They only proposed amendments in February 2014, just before a CFATF review meeting later that month.
Both opposition parties have since denied responsibility for the non-passage of the legislation. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Government and opposition are scheduled to meet on Monday at the office of the President with the passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill will be placed top on the agenda. This move comes even as blacklisting looms. Svetlana Marshall has details.
Hours after Guyana was handed over to the Financial Action Task Force FATF for blacklisting, President Donald Ramotar and leader of the opposition David Granger agreed to meet on Monday. The party's legal minds, Attorney General Anil Nanlal and Shadow Legal Affairs Minister Basil Williams, are also expected to analyze the demands on the table. However, Granger today did not make it clear whether the opposition might be willing to strike a compromise.
In my view, our requests are quite reasonable, and we would like to proceed on the mechanism for the President giving assent to those 4 bills.
But you're saying that the APNU is willing to compromise?
Well, this matter has been on the table for the better part of a year. So what I'm saying is that the 2 attorneys general, the shadow and the substantive attorney general, must sit down and look at it. If there's a stumbling block, we'll examine that stumbling block, but we do not, APNU does not see any stumbling block.
Speaking at his Hatfield Street office, the opposition leader said the People's Progressive Party government must take responsibility for Guyana's present status. He said although Guyana was identified as a country with strategic deficiencies in its AML-CFT regime in 2011, it was only in 2013 that the bill was brought before the House.
May 2011, This is exactly 3 years ago. And listen to the words of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. Guyana was placed on a list of jurisdictions with strategic anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism deficiencies that have not made sufficient progress in addressing the deficiencies, and required Guyana to take specific steps to address these deficiencies by November 2013. This is old hat. So we have not been delaying. This was with the government of Guyana since May 2011, before APNU was even established.
Nevertheless, Granger said APNU is calling on the administration to abandon its winner-takes-all attitude and embrace inclusionary democracy. On Thursday, the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, TFTF, said Guyana remains a country with strategic AML-CFT deficiencies due to its non-compliance with the Develop Action Plan. As a result, Guyana is now considered a risk to the international financial system, and members are now encouraged to implement further countermeasures to protect their financial interests. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
Thanks, Svetlana. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, DeBrent Hart, says plans are moving apace for the establishment of a local drug enforcement agency office in Guyana. Details in this report.
U.S. Ambassador Brent Hart says before the much-anticipated Drug Enforcement Administration unit can be established, local anti-drug agents will have to be fully vetted in order to reduce the likelihood of them breaching the strategies that would be enforced.
As part of this agreement, there is funding, as mentioned, for vetted units, and part of the process of DEA working, they like to have a vetted unit that they're confident they can work with and share sensitive information with, and really work in an elevated partnership. So I think that is one of the core building blocks to getting DEA here. We are, I'm very hopeful that we are going to get that. Things are moving in the right direction, and hopefully in the near future we'll have some more to say about that.
The ambassador explained that there have been some delays in getting the DEA unit here due to budgetary issues faced in the U.S. However, he noted that they are currently in the process of overcoming that.
We're moving forward, and I think, as I mentioned in previous years, we'd had some issues in terms of the budget cuts in the United States and our limited ability to open new offices. But I think that is we're on the road to overcoming that.
Nevertheless, the ambassador pointed out that the U.S. does have a DEA presence in Guyana. However, it has been covered by the DEA office in Trinidad for some time. Ambassador Hart, whose tenure in Guyana will be up soon, explained that from the time he took up the post in Guyana, he made it a priority to lobby for a DEA office and has been making progress. Shania Singh for the Evening News.
The Limacol Caribbean Premier League commences on July 11th with the first match at the Guyana National Stadium slated for July 17. And believe it or not, Guyana is already recruiting cheerleaders to entertain Guyanese cricket fans and ultimately the world. Bishar Mohammed filed this report.
That was part of the cheerleading workshop held at the Pegasus Hotel over the past 3 days, and it is evident that the girls are ready to entertain. Head of training Pixie Durgray said she is extremely pleased with the participants and more so the mixture of the group.
For 3 days, these girls have been working really, really hard. They are wonderful, they are beautiful, they are talented. Nobody here is a beauty queen, nobody is a model. They're just Guyanese girls who want to come and cheer. They are supposed to excite the crowds. They are supposed to show the camera and show the world what we look like, who we are. So we have dances, but short bursts of excitement. The pom-poms and all their gorgeous bodies and a little sensual wine. I cannot believe the element of sophistication and sexiness, and they are lovely, lovely girls.
Co-trainer Rihanna Ramdani reiterated this is the first country for the workshop and that it was a fabulous experience.
It's interesting because we didn't expect this turnout, and it has been magnificent so far. And I'm really proud of them. They worked really hard throughout these past 3 days, and I hope to see them all on July the 17th at the stadium.
Meanwhile, Digicel's public relations officer Vidya Sanchara said her company is pleased to be associated with the Limekol CPL and noted that Digicel is ready for the highly anticipated games to begin.
We know it's the biggest party in sport, and we're very elated, very happy, very glad to be associated with CPL because it's something that every Caribbean person, and especially Guyanese, look forward for. And we know that if stadiums are not sold out, stadiums in Guyana are always sold out. So this is something that we look forward to, and we're very proud to be a sponsor. We are very, very glad because it's 100% Guyanese. Because, last year they had girls coming from other countries, and they were the ones highlighted. They were the cheerleaders for whichever team was playing in Guyana. But this year we're elated that we can put our Guyanese beauties on show, and they've got it, so they're going to bring it.
Once selected, the girls will continue training at the Classic Dance Company, Hatfield Street, Georgetown, under the stewardship of its director, Clive Powell. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Thanks, Bisham. Quite an interesting report. Donna Trott's 58 Eccles new scheme East Bank Demerara today appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Behari to answer a charge of illegal electricity connection. The charge read that on May 27, 2014, the defendant had illegal connections run into her home from which she was stealing electricity from the Ghana Power and Light Company. The woman, who works as a cook at the Gravity Lounge, pleaded not guilty and is scheduled to return to court on June 16, 2014 at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. You're tuned to the Evening News. More news after these messages. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Leader of the opposition, David Granger, says that key questions surrounding the death of political activist and co-founder of the Working People's Alliance Party, Dr. Walter Rodney, are yet to be answered. Details in this Swatlana Marshall report.
I've never heard of, from any of the witnesses, about how the device came to be designed and manufactured, how Dr. Rodney came to be in possession of it, how he accepted an instruction to go and test an ordinary walkie-talkie in the dead of night by the Georgetown prison. And none of the people who have given evidence seem to have answered these questions about how Dr. Rodney died.
That was leader of the opposition, David Granger, addressing the press on the ongoing Dr. Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry. Granger opined that thus far witnesses have provided the commission with hearsay details, noting that the truth is yet to be unveiled. Granger made it clear that the People's National Congress is not afraid to face the truth.
We are the ones who asked for a commission of inquiry. We voted for a commission of inquiry in the National Assembly, in the 9th Parliament, I think in 2009. And we want a commission that pursues the truth. We don't want a commission that pursues hearsay and conjecture.
WPA co-founder UC Quayana has been testifying for the past 3 days. According to him, the People's National Congress, led by Lyndon Forbes Burnham, set the stage for Dr. Rodney's death. The politician was killed on June 13, 1980 in the vicinity of the Camp Street prison. He was sitting in his brother's vehicle when an explosive device that was concealed in a walkie-talkie radio exploded in his lap. Swatlana Marshall reporting for the Evening News.
Alexis Rodney joins us now to report that the Army had tried for years to deny Gregory Smith's existence. Let's find out why in this report.
UC Guyana continues to reveal interesting information at the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry. Today, on the fourth day of his appearance, the commission heard that the Guyana Defense Force, under the leadership of Major General retired Norman McLean, had blatantly denied that Gregory Smith was in fact a serving member of the military body at the time of Rodney's death. This denial was before Smith's close neighbor Pamela Bihari and the Catholic Standard newspaper had revealed that he had in fact existed. Trinidadian attorney Keith Scotland, representing the interest of Donald Rodney during his cross-examination of Guyana, sought to establish that the state agency, headed by Prime Minister Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, was in total control of the Guyana Defense Force. He had suggested too that the head of state at that time may have influenced the security force to make the denial.
Smith had claimed in his book that he, at the time in 1980, had left the army and he was, well, for all intents and purposes, a freelancer, correct?
Yes, he did that.
Donald Rodney claimed at the time that he was an active sergeant in the army, correct?
Yes.
When the dust cleared and the facts were collated, is it not true that Pamela Bihari made it pellucid that she and Gwendolyn visited Sergeant Gregory Smith at the army base?
At the Marine Wing.
At the Marine Wing. Yes. And that was also confirmed by one Ignatius McRae, who confirmed
on the oath, yes.
On oath that Smith was an active member, yes?
Yes.
So,
Scotland noted that the Army's denial of ever knowing Gregory Smith was an attempt to discredit the statement of Donald Rodney, who was at the scene of the crime on June 13, 1980. Donald's testimony was that Smith had given his older brother a brown plastic bag with a walkie-talkie inside. When his brother opened the bag, the device, which was later proven to have had a bomb hidden inside, exploded.
Donald Rodney has stated that neither he nor Dr. Rodney at the time knew that what they had was an explosive device, but a walkie-talkie to be tested between Dr. Rodney and Gregory Smith. You recall that?
Yes.
Now, in the spin put on in his book by Gregory Smith, he indicated that no, he didn't give them explosive, but by some extension they would have had explosives and put it on something went awry. You recall that? And he gave them a warning and the tutorial. You recall that?
Yes.
Here's my question to you. Did not one Mr. Kendall confirm that the remnants of the device found on the night of the 13th of June 1980 was a device that could have been remotely triggered from elsewhere?
He confirmed this on oath in my presence in reply to Defense Counsel.
Scotland also examined Smith's departure from the city a few hours after the explosion. Based on information received, Smith had traveled to Kwakwani, a village up the Berbice River, with his wife and children. He established too that Smith, being an ordinary Guyanese, would have been unable to transport himself out of the city, and more so the country, which he later did when he was whisked away to French Guiana. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Thanks, Alexis. Nearly 16,000 Guyanese from different communities across the country will benefit from the new roads as the Ministry of Housing and Water today signed 5 contracts valued at $417 million for the improvement of roads under the CRIP project. Gabriela Patram tells us more in this report.
The Community Road Improvement Project under the Ministry of Housing today signed 5 contracts valued at $417 million for the repairs and enhancement of a number of roads across the country. The CRIP program will cater for the rehabilitation of NDC buildings, training of staff, development of a maintenance manual, and the cleaning, reshaping, and realigning of 13 kilometers of 26 roads. Present at the signing ceremony was Minister of Housing and Water Irfan Ali, who highlighted some of the communities set to benefit from this initiative.
Some of the areas to benefit will include Anakatrina, the main access road to the cemetery, the Forest Cross Street, and the last street. In Windsor Forest, we have the Mandir Street and Gap Road. Many persons in Windsor Forest would know that the Gap Road is a road that the community would have been asking us for quite a long time to make intervention in. Enmore Hope West, we have Pastor Jam, Enterprise Sideline Dam, Good Hope, Forest Street East, and Sideline East. We also have intervention at Belladrum, Forest Street, Continuation, and Sideline West. In Bushlot, 2nd Cross Street West, Wyadam, and Pagu Street. Number 64 Village, Middle Walk, 4th Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, Sideline Footpath. Then we have Miss Phoebe, Main Access Road, 5th Street, 6th Street, Grassfield, Internal Road Network, and in Anchorville, we have the Dispensary Street. These are some of the interventions that we have under this program.
Additionally, the minister stated that this relationship being fostered does not only include the ministry but other organizations as well.
We want the communities to know that they will play an active role in the monitoring, and the contractors to understand that we are holding them strictly to the timeline and to the quality specified in the contract.
The 5 contractors awarded projects are Guy America Construction, A&H Norton Sons, Ariel Civil Constructions, KP Jack Dio General Constructions, and Burgery Construction. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriella Patram.
23-year-old Alethea Andrews today appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before the Chief Magistrate Pri Bahari to face assault charges. It was alleged that on May 8, 2014 at All Boys Town, the accused assaulted Onika Thorm and caused her grievous bodily harm. The defendant, who is a construction worker by profession, told the court that the fight ensued after the complainant refused to pay back the money she borrowed. Bail was granted to the sum of $100,000 but was subsequently dropped to $60,000 after the defendant's mother asked for a more reasonable bail. The defendant is to reappear at the Georgetown Magistrates Court on June 20, 2014. The Pan American Health Organization says the number of dengue cases in the Americas, including the Caribbean, increased fivefold between 2003 and 2013. According to data presented this week at the high-level regional meeting on dengue hosted by PAHO, between 2009 and 2012, over 1 million cases were reported annually, on average with more than 33,900 severe cases and 835 deaths. PAHO said last year was one of the worst years for dengue in the hemisphere's history, with 2.3 million cases, including 37,705 severe cases and 1,289 deaths. By comparison, the number of cases reported region-wide in 2003 was 517,617, PAHO said. Despite countries' efforts to control the disease, PAHO warned that dengue continues to spread due to, and among other reasons, uncontrolled, unplanned urbanization, lack of basic services in communities, poor environmental management, and climate change. In this report, we hear that Foreign Affairs Minister Carolyn Rodrigues-Burkett said it is critical for regional governments to strengthen communication with Caribbean youth. More details in this story.
Minister Carolyn Rodrigues-Burkett told a group of CARICOM youths that their role in the development of the Caribbean is crucial and governments need to strengthen their communication strategies with them as a result. The minister was speaking at the opening of an advocacy workshop for CARICOM Youth Associates (CYA) program on Thursday. She noted that in order for governments to effectively communicate with the youths, they have to be up to speed with technology.
We have to, as older people, come up to speed with your methods of communication. And as you know, I don't like the word digital natives because it excludes me. But I think that we have to ensure that we are in tune with social media.
General Secretary of CARICOM, Ambassador Irwin LaRock, also reiterated Minister Rodrigues-Burkett's view, noting that communication is vital for getting information over to youths. He noted that information and communications technology, ICT, plays a major role in the development of the Caribbean.
The age in which we live guarantees that information and communications technologies, ICT, will play a fundamental role. It is you, the digital natives. Yes, that's a new term that I learned, the digital natives, that the task will fall in large measure to utilize your skills with the technology to make a difference and add value to our products and services. There are other opportunities to help develop our community, of which you should be aware in your role as advocates, which involve education and training. Emphasis on broadening the range of skills outside the academic realm has increased the importance of strengthening technical and vocational education and training, what we refer to as TVET.
In an effort to lighten youth from the community, CARICOM established the CYA program, which saw participants from each member states participating in the discussions on various topics, seeking to advance the Caribbean. For the Evening News, Shania Singh.
Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. You're tuned to TVG's Evening News. In this report, you will hear that Guyana and St. Kitts and Nevis will strengthen their relationship as the St. Kitts and Nevis will send nurses here to be trained in kidney dialysis. Here are details from Gabriela Patram.
Over the next 3 months, Guyana's health sector will receive a batch of nurses from St. Kitts and Nevis that will undergo training in kidney dialysis. This was disclosed by Minister of Health Dr. Barry Ramsaran during a telephone interview with this newscast. He noted that during the 4-day Caribbean Development Bank meeting here in Guyana, the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley, paid a courtesy call to him. Ramsaran stated that the 4-member team held consultations with him and other local health professionals. Additionally, they were given a tour of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation so that they can assess and see the capacity of the hospital and their personnel. The minister noted that this is a milestone not only for the health sector but the country as well. The health team from St. Kitts and Nevis included Medical Chief of Staff Dr. John Essen, Health Planner Ms. Sheila Martin, and Matron Altris Diaz. It was also stated that other countries in the Caribbean have expressed similar interest in this field. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
The stage is set for the hosting of the 7th edition of the satirical presentation, Nothing to Laugh About 7, this weekend at the National Culture Center. Bisham Mohammed tells us that the show has lots to laugh about.
The National Cultural Center is definitely the place to be this evening, Saturday, Sunday and Monday, if persons are desirous of having a good laugh. The center will be the venue for the staging of Nothing to Laugh About 7. As usual, Nothing to Laugh About has the 411 and all those little spicy stories that went down throughout the year, along with the other hot issues. The director, Lyndon Jumby Jones, promised that the 7th edition is expected to create havoc, at least in a positive way.
Nothing to Laugh About Part 7 is the best. We're dealing with different type of comedy so that people can enjoy whatever it is you like. Something is in there for you. You're going to have a whole lot of fun to see how we put current issues, things that are happening in the news, and we make funny of it without being disrespectful. And yes, this is a show for the entire family.
The theatrical presentation is expected to be explosive and will see a top-class cast who has been the cream of the crop, including Henry Rodney, Lisa Radhika Singh, Michael Ignatius, Clemencio Godet, Mark Kazim and others.
This year, None to Laugh About, we have rehearsed longer, we've had our scripts longer, most of us learnt our lines a whole lot longer in advance in comparison to previous years. This year I'm supposed to be doing as regular Radhika, but along with that there are other roles that I would be, or characters that I would be playing this year. So people already know what to expect of None to Laugh About, but every year, expect bigger and better.
However, the stage manager also reiterated that the presentation will be one with a difference and will be real fun.
For the past, that's going to be the 3rd episode that I've been going on stage a little bit. So I'm getting a little feel of the acting, and I can tell you it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Rehearsals, even the rehearsals we're having fun with. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too.
Tickets for the show cost $1,000, $1,500 and $2,000 and can be purchased at Upscale Guyana Restaurant and Sports Bar, Hing Street, Giffland Office Max Water Street, Niger Supermarket Rob Street, Gizmos and Gadget Wellington Street and other usual locations.
Debbie, man, I want to try something new.
Who's the boss? Huh? Who's the boss? What's the name? What's the name? Yeah. What's the name?
Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Stay tuned. Join us on the other side of the break for your regional, international news and your bridge reports. Welcome back. I'm Michael Young and you're tuned to the Evening News. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the region. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a bill to introduce sanctions against Venezuelan officials involved in human rights abuses. The legislation calls for a travel ban on some members of the Venezuelan government and for their assets in the U.S. banks to be frozen. The U.S. Foreign Relations Committee advanced a similar bill last week. Now, internationally, officials say 2 police officers in India have been sacked for refusing to help search for 2 missing girls who were later found gang-raped and hung. They were also charged with criminal conspiracy, police said, adding that 3 people had been arrested so far. The government has pledged to set up a fast-track court to prosecute the crime, which took place earlier this week in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Still internationally, the leader of Thailand's military coup has ruled out elections for more than a year to allow time for political reconciliation and reform. In a televised interview, General Paitha Chanakul called on all sides to cooperate and stop protesting to make the plan succeed. The military seized power in Thailand on the 22nd of May 2014, saying it wanted to return stability after months of unrest. The coup leaders received royal endorsement on Monday. It's now time for a look at your bridge reports. The Damara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Saturday, May 31 at 5 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Saturday, May 31 at 5 hours 20 for a period of 1.5 hours. The Parika and Subinan ferries will be departing at 5 a.m. on Saturday, May 31, 2014. Both ferries are also slated to depart their respective locations at 18 hours on Saturday, May 31, 2014. Join us on the other side of the break for your sport news. Welcome back. You're tuned to the Evening News. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the world of sport. But first, your headlines. New GPC supports Buddies Pools competition. Exciting Guinness Football National Playoff on this weekend. And Kings 11 beat Chennai Super Kings in high-scoring affair. Our sportscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of Macorp.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macorp, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Let's go now to the sport in detail. As part of efforts to fulfill its corporate responsibility and mandate, New GPC Inc., under its Amazon Warriors Energy Drink on Friday, aligned itself with the Buddies Pool Hall 1Q pool competition, which is set for June 22. The presentation took place this morning. Rajiv Bisnot reports.
Speaking at a simple presentation ceremony at the Buddies Pool Hall on Sheriff Street, Marketing Associate of New GPC Inc. Levasti Bupulal highlighted the company's pleasure at being able to support not just the development of pools but youth development.
Amazon Warrior Energy Drink will continue to be involved in sports and its development, and it is evident with the sponsorship of this event. We are injecting much hype and energy into this event with our very own Amazon Warrior Energy Drink. So let's have a swell event with Amazon Warrior Energy Drink, what gets you up and going.
Managing Director of Buddies, Ryan Shivraj, in accepting New GPC's sponsorship, praised the entity for its investment in the competition and sports in general. The Marketing Director also gave a synopsis of what players and pool supporters can expect during the competition.
I'd like to say thank you to the Amazon Warrior Energy Drink for supporting this great event. We're trying to make this pool competition very different from the previous ones we had. It's called the Buddies on Cue competition, and up for grabs we have first prize is a Giant motorcycle and a trophy. Second prize we're giving a tablet, 60,000 cash and a trophy. Third prize we have a cell phone and a $40,000 cash and a trophy, and the fourth prize is $25,000 cash and a trophy. The registration fee is only $2,000 and you get back a t-shirt on competition day. So we just like to encourage everybody to come out. There are lots of consolation prizes, so even if you finish in the first round, I'm pretty sure everybody will be going home with something.
New GPC Inc. has been an avid supporter of sport, with its most significant investment being in the Caribbean Premier League under the Lima Call brand.
Thanks, Rajiv. Guyana's representative to the Caribbean Guinness Street Challenge will be known this weekend when the national playoff is contested at the Banks DIH parking lot. According to one of the organizers, 3 keenly contested nights of action are expected. More details from Avinash Ramzan.
Drawn from 3 zones, Georgetown, Linden and East Coast Demerara, the teams will be coming hard at each other with the ultimate aim of copying the coveted title as national champion. Such a success would also give them automatic entry into the Guinness Caribbean Street Challenge as Guyana's representative at a June 6 to 8 event in Trinidad and Tobago. The national playoff will take the form of a round-robin knockout with the 8 teams divided into 2 groups. Group A includes Georgetown champions Queen Street Tiger Bay, All Boys Town B and Linden sides Retrieve Unknowns and Wisma Housing Scheme. Group B comprises Linden zone winner Eagles and reigning East Coast champions Melanie A, along with Georgetown sides Stevedore Housing Scheme and Hope Street Tiger Bay.
We have the top Caribbean television station Sportsmax going to be in the house to video the games and the reaction in the crowd. Definitely it's going to be the biggest that the Caribbean going to ever see in terms of the Guinness Street Challenge.
According to Mendonça, there has been a steady improvement in the level of play ever since the inception of the competition several years ago.
Judging from the local tournament, you know what I mean, we like I said, as the year goes by, people more understand the intricacies of the game. And we have seen improvement over the years, and no doubt this competition will bring out the best in the players.
The local leg of the Guinness Greatest of the Streets football competition is being sponsored by Banks DIH Limited, with Petro Organization headed by Mendonça and Marlon Cole being the chief organizing group.
Thanks, Avinash. In an exciting run fest, Kings 11 Punjab qualified for the final of the Pepsi IPL with a 25-run win over Chennai Super Kings. Virendra Sehwag's destructive 122 from 58 balls powered Kings 11 to 226 for 6 and left Chennai facing the highest successful run chase in T20 history. They started in a powerful fashion, blasting 100 in the first 6 overs, with Suresh Raina smashing 87 from 25 balls. However, once he went, the innings lost momentum and Chennai did well to score 202 for 7. With the winner, Kings 11 will now face Calcutta Knight Riders in the final on Sunday from 10:30 hours. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of today's run chase.
Suresh Raina 87 from 25 with very little else. Jadeja was sent up to do a Raina part 2, that didn't come off. Dhoni himself 42 from 31, there was not much left. But they still made 202 for 7, don't forget, and they were 24 short. 1 for 44 to Johnson, but the standout there was young Akshar Patel. He's taken giant strides today. 1 for 23 of his 4 overs. And they finished 202 for 7. Remember, the Kings 11 actually just eased up towards the end, getting only 15 of their last 2. But Dhoni was scathing about his quicker bowlers and about his senior players. Well, that's the way it goes. He's been animated right through this tournament. It's a different Dhoni that we've seen in the Pepsi IPL this year, but it's not a Dhoni who's going to play in the final. It's the Kings 11 who are going to be there, having made 226 for 6. Their wonderful, uninhibited brand of cricket has brought them into the final and a 4th match against the Kolkata Knight Riders. He is a batsman, isn't he? I still have talent, he says. Kolkata Knight Riders now in the final against the Kings 11 from Punjab. What a final it should be. They've played each other 3 times, but this will be different. 8 o'clock live from Bengaluru, the climax of the Pepsi IPL, and teams 1 and 2 playing the final, which is how it should be.
That has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Friday, May 30th, 2014. I'm Michael Young, thanking you very much for joining us and encouraging you to do join us tomorrow for more news. Goodbye.